Well, I wasn't one of these people that grew up wanting to be a judge. I can remember I thought I wanted to actually go into the political world, which, of course, being a judge has aspects of that, even though it's nonpartisan, or be a writer, and being a judge has aspects of that too, except I'm never going to write the great American novel. But I was in the district attorney's office for 19 years, and after 19 years, while it was still a wonderful job that I loved, I wasn't sure what I was looking for, but I was looking for a platform where I could maybe have a broader impact and do something a little bit different. And in 2014, Judge Bodford announced that he was retiring, and he's now a senior judge, but one of my colleagues at the time said, you should run. And I thought about it, and then I talked to my husband, and he encouraged me. And all he said was, if you're going to run, then let's be all in. Don't wake up the morning after the election and say, I wonder if I should have reached out to this person or gone to this event or met with this group. And so I did. I ran, and I ran and ran and ran. And I used to tell people, if a group of bikers wants to meet with me at 2 o'clock in the morning at a bar, I'll go talk to them. But that's how I got here. That was in 2014. I have been serving the folks of Cobb County since then, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. It's funny, I suspect a lot of judges would give this same answer. A wonderful part of my job is presiding over the accountability courts. I preside over the mental health court and also over the parental accountability court, which deals with chronic non-payers of child support, and those are both great programs because it's such an affirmation of the ability of a human being to improve themselves. Because we see radical change in people's lives in just a matter of months, maybe a year or a year and a half, and that's such a life-affirming experience. Although I'll have to tell you, as somebody who was a trial lawyer for 19 years, I love being in court with lawyers. I love listening to them argue, and I listen to them and see who I think has the better of the argument. I love watching lawyers deal with witnesses in a trial, and sometimes they deal with them well and sometimes not so well. I love watching lawyers try to persuade a jury that their side is the side that should be accepted. So I love working with lawyers. Well, I am very new to statewide leadership, so I will beg a little bit of ignorance in that respect. I would like to see, now that we are on, hopefully, the backside of COVID, I would like to find ways to encourage judges to get more involved in their community. I don't mean social media, but have the judges engage with their community. Some do it better than others, but I think the judiciary can be approachable and still be within our ethical responsibilities, and I would like to work on that. The other thing, frankly, is a project that now Justice LaGrua handed to me a couple of years ago. That has to do with the pattern jury instructions. They are written by lawyers, and when you read them, they are apparently written for lawyers, which is wrong because they're written for juries. And I can tell you, as a layperson, I would find them incomprehensible. And I've got a group, I had a little small committee of judges, and we have been working for, we started right about COVID, on the pattern jury instructions to try to make them comprehensible to members of the public who are sitting here making incredibly momentous decisions in civil cases and in criminal cases, to make them understandable. And I will tell you, that is not as easy as it sounds to take legalese and make it plain English. I love to read. That's my great escape. I've always loved to read. My mom, I read Go Dog Go till I was blue in the face when I was 3 years old. Right now, I'll tell you, my guilty pleasures are reading things that are written by Louise Penny. She writes like detective kind of novels that are set in a small Canadian town. I read Daniel Silva. it's sort of Israeli spy meets James Bond. He's written a bunch of books. I always find those entertaining. Elizabeth George, she writes detective novels that are set in London primarily. So those are my guilty pleasures. I will say I read, it was about 6 months ago, and very prescient, I read a book, I highly recommend it, written by Anne Applebaum, who is a historian, and it's called Red Famine. And what it's about is the collectivization that the Soviet Union imposed in Eastern Europe in the late 20s and early 30s, and particularly in Ukraine. And there was a massive famine over there. They call it the Holodomor. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Holodomor, I believe. But anyway, that was a fascinating book. The last book I just read, and I read it while I was on vacation, Jonathan Franzen wrote a novel, Crossroads, which I will just say he gores about everybody's ox he could in that book. It's some people probably won't appreciate it, but it was highly entertaining. So that's what I've been reading. Oh, one other book, a book Dwight Chapin wrote, The President's Man. He was an aide in the Nixon White House, and I find that whole time fascinating. I mean, you talk about some characters with Shakespearean flaws. And so I've read a lot of books from that era, and Dwight Chapin was a personal aide to Nixon, and so he has some fresh insights. He was one of the few that actually went to prison. So that was an interesting book called President's Man.